Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now.
Come along, I'm on my way to Cuba. That's where I'm going. Oh.
Well, this is a show that I'm entitling it Latin Roots because that's what I have. I have my Latin roots are really what keep me on the stage. You know, it's where I get my love of my music. And I've been doing a nightclub act in one form or another for about 23 years, believe it or not. And in the last 10, maybe 12 years, I've been sneaking in more and more of the music that I remember my father singing, you know. Not necessarily the big songs that he's famous for, but that songs with a Latin rhythm. And you can't not love Latin music. This is Father's Day weekend, and I think about him a lot. He's been gone 20-some years, and not a day goes by that I don't miss him, and his wit, and his smarts, and his bravery. He was so courageous because back in that time, he wasn't trying to revolutionize the television industry. He was trying to stay with his wife and have a family. And he was on the road all the time, and she was making radio shows. And he said, well, no, we don't want to move to New York. We live here in California. We're going to have our family. We can't do that. Well, but you have to, because we have to put her in front of an audience. Lucy works better in front of an audience, and you can't have an audience on a stage with, film. He said, why not? And so he figured out how to do it. It wasn't because he tried to be inventive. He just wanted to stay home and have a family and work with his wife. And they just figured out how to do that, and it changed the face of TV, changed the face of entertainment as we know it, created the rerun.
The Chilean moon, the Chilean side, the crackles of the fireworks, the 4th of July. The night may be cool, but if you're a fool, then Chile isn't Chile, as a rule.
I was born when the first show went on the air. So by the time I was 6, the show was ending. And it wasn't until I got to be an adult and I started really studying what they went through. And I made a documentary called Lucie and Desi, a Home Movie, basically because I wanted my own answers about what these people were like. And they said, who's going to believe that an all-American girl like you is married to a Cuban? She said, I am married to a Cuban. A lot of people wouldn't have I Love Lucy because they would have gotten really upset at that point and walked out of the room, slammed the door, and that'd be the last you saw of that person. My father was so smart because he went, okay, he knew what he was up against. And he said, I get it. Lucy, you come with me on my nightclub tour, and we'll put a little act together. You'll do some jokes with me and sing some songs. And the audiences went crazy. They loved them together. And so he said, and if the audiences love us, then that's good enough for me. What is CBS going to say? And they had to say, okay, we were wrong. I guess it's not such a terrible thing. The audiences will be okay with it. I think I've always loved Latin rhythms, always from the time I was sitting on my pop's knee and he was singing them and I was pretending, to play the drums along with him. There's just something in your bones, in your blood. You can't sit still. It's there. I don't know if it's osmosis or if it's genetic, but it's been there forever. When my father passed away and I listened to those tapes of the kinds of music that the Desi Arnaz Orchestra used to play, which was a cross-section of great Latin music, all the big hits from Broadway and of the era, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, but with his little Latin tinge to it. And I thought, well, that's where I live. That's where my heart is. My brother, well, he's in entertainment in a completely different way. He owns the historic Boulder City Theater. He's on that side, which he's always loved the production end of it anyway. But every once in a while, I get a chance to call him and say, would you come, because something big, something very special is happening. Will you play percussion with me in my show? And he did it in Las Vegas several times. And last year, we did a big tribute to my father's music. Not all of these arrangements that I'm doing or that are on my CD. These were all Desi Arnaz Orchestra arrangements that are now housed at the Library of Congress. And we named it Babalu.
If ever you're feeling lonely, call, I'll be there anytime, anywhere. There's no
longtime children of big stars that whose life just completely fall apart. What does it take to sort of stay sane in an insane world, which I'm imagining it could have been?
I work hard at trying to stay focused on spirit and be very grateful regarding everything in my life, and see the positive. It takes work. It takes, like, how do you tap dance that well? Practice. Practice. Take good lessons. Study with the best. Practice. I try to practice.
Thank you for your kindness and for the times when you got tough. Papa, I don't think I said I love you near enough.
I sing Leader of the Band to him, which is the Dan Fogelberg song, because it is my tip of the straw hat, if you will, to how I got here. I think what I learned from my dad is really where my heart is. I still do Broadway, I still do some TV, I still do some movies, but I found, strangely enough, that once I started to get on a stage with live musicians, I was never out of work. So I guess the universe is telling me this is where I'm supposed to be.
I am a living legacy to the least.